and welcome to the No Song Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing. And now here is your trio host, starting with Audrey Ember, and of course, RedRomina with the good hair, and Roberto Blake, the Dark Lord of interwebs himself. Welcome to the No Something Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like, subscribe, and review.
Yes, please review.
Bruh.
Are we able to leave reviews on
Spotify now? Yes, Apple and Spotify.
So there's no excuse. I wonder if we have any new reviews. We probably do. Haven't checked in a while.
No, I think we have ratings. I don't think we have reviews on Spotify. I think we have ratings, though. Oh, excuse me.
Oof. Are we that boring already, Roberto?
I'm tired. I've been working all day.
Do you want to tell us what you've been working on?
I guess we could start with me. I've been working on my book, which comes out August 22nd, which is really dope. And it's called Create Something Awesome Today, How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. So I wrote a creator economy book, and it's almost 50,000 words. It's 20 chapters plus an appendix and final thoughts. And it's really dope, and it's dedicated to my family and to my community.
That's awesome. This is the one that's like split up into chapters with stories, right?
This is the one that I wrote that I sent you guys, and that like where you told me to like add like a chapter about like burnout and failure and criticism and stuff like that. So it's the one I was writing like during the winter, mostly during the winter, and then in the spring, and then doing all the craziness with editorial and stuff like that for the over the summer. And now it's like ready to go. It's ready to go. So it was that one. Wow. So it's, yeah. And, there were a few stories in there, like how I talked about how Peter McKinnon got started, how I talked about how Sarah Dietschy got started, how I talked about my own story some, how I talked about, it's like, and I think I told the story in my own way of like the story of the internet and the story of the creator economy and the story of how YouTube got started, and Romina, I know it was a little nostalgic for you because there was like some OG internet stories in there, like how Rooster Teeth got started on YouTube and stuff like that. It was a bunch of friends making a goofy parody about Halo, and now they're a media company that's a subsidiary of Warner Media.
That's cool.
Yeah, kids goofing around on the internet,
It's incredible. I love that story arc. I mean, Jackass has a similar story arc, but pre-YouTube.
Yeah.
And I love to hear it,
Yeah, no, I mean, YouTube's come a long way. I don't think people realize, and like so is the internet. The internet's come a long way. I mean, I was laughed at in 2002. I bring this up in the book. I was laughed at in 2002 when I said, I bet my entire career that like every company in America is going to want and need a website. And my professors laughed at me in 2002 when I said that. And there's some kid somewhere who has probably talked about, online video, the creator economy, and like somebody's like freaking laughing at them. My friend, I didn't really see it. Like my friend Shelly was all about vertical video and thought vertical video could be a thing. My friend Shelly saves the day. She thought vertical video was going to be a big thing. She thought this, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. Now look at TikTok and look at YouTube Shorts and look at how dominant it is. I didn't believe in it because I didn't think Snapchat would last. I was right about Snapchat. I didn't think Snapchat would last. And I was right about that. I still don't think TikTok will last. We've talked about that. I'd give it another 3 to 5 years of being relevant, unless China invades Taiwan or something. And but I wrote about my thoughts about the past, present, and future of the creator economy in this book. I feel like there's 3 big things. I think I talked about what the creator economy is and why it matters, what the opportunity for beginners is. I think I talked about the creator mindset and the expectations versus the reality of what creators go through. So I think a lot of creators who read it will feel seen, and it'll also give them some real advice about how to deal with some of what they're going through mindset wise. And then I talked about the importance of, creator businesses and the creator business model and how people are monetizing. And so I feel really good about this book, and I'm already outlining the second one. The second one is really about that last thing. The second book that I'm writing really is just all about the monetization piece, because I feel like it could have been its own book. So I'm writing, the next book I'm writing is about so this book was about the creator economy and how creators are profiting from their passion. My second book that I'm writing probably take me a whole year to write it. It'll probably come out in 2024. I feel my next book is about being a full-time content creator and what that's actually like, because I feel like people don't know. So my next book is like The Millionaire Next Door. It's kind of like explaining, okay, Millionaire Next Door said you guys have a false idea of what a millionaire is, and like how when you think of a millionaire, you're actually imagining the lifestyle of a billionaire, or someone with $100 million, not 2 or 10. Well, I'm going to break the reality of, like, when you think about a full-time content creator, well, you're thinking about someone with 10 million followers or 10 million subscribers. You're thinking of Mr. Beast and Charlie D'Amelio. Meanwhile, there's plenty of people out here who are not Mr. Beast or Charlie D'Amelio who are crushing it. You guys don't really know about the people who are full-time at 50,000 followers, 500,000 followers, 1 million followers. So more like the stories of a lot of these people. So people like Emily D. Baker, people like me, people, like Sarah Dietschy, people like A Drive, people, people that are not the biggest content creators in the world, but they are some of the dominant people in their niche. They're known for something, and they're able to make like a good, like 50,000 to $500,000 a year. They're not necessarily millionaires per se, but it's how these creators are making millions and how they are full-time and what the reality is of that. So that's the second thing I'm working on writing. Writing's going to be a lifetime commitment from now on. I think before I die, I want to write like 20 books. So
question.
Yeah.
Because you've thrown out this specific number before.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of what each of these 20 books are? Or is this more of a Quentin Tarantino kind of deal where he's like, yeah, I'm going to make 10 movies and then I'm going to retire?
I think it's kind of both, in the sense that it takes a long time to write something really well. And I think that I will write, like, maybe probably, in my opinion, I'll probably write maybe 10, 12 books about the creator economy. I might write.
Do you feel like there's enough content regarding that to write 10 to 12 books? Because that seems like wild to me, right? Like, to me, I'm just thinking, like, how do I fill up one book with all that?
Easily. Because I already know the first trilogy is create something awesome, how content creators are profiting from their passion, their creator economy. I know the second book is the creator economy, how full-time content creators are making millions. And I know the third book is No More Starving Artist, how creator-based businesses are thriving in the creator economy. And then I know that's that trilogy, and that sets the tone. I know it's about, here's how you get started, here's what the creator economy is and how content creators make their money and get started. Here's the lifestyle of a full-time content creator, and here's the reality, the facts, the figures, the data, and the stories of that. And then here is No More Starving Artist. Here are the stories and interviews of creators who built businesses that are beyond the internet and are businesses and things in real life, like Logan Paul and KSI with their beverage brand, Emma Chamberlain with Chamberlain Coffee, Top of the Morning Coffee with Jacksepticeye, Cloak, Teddy Fresh, all these things.
I have a follow-up question. Yeah. How do you...
That's a trilogy, and I know I can get 3 more trilogies after that from different topics.
How do you prevent from repeating content or sounding redundant over this overarching theme and topic throughout various books? How do you plan on kind of preventing redundancy?
I thought of that. The first book, I approached it from a very philosophical place and a very very beginner friendly place as far as the first book. The second book, so the first book is very, in many ways, anecdotal. Like so the first book is very anecdotal. It's very philosophical. The second book has a different format, and it's a lot of facts, figures, data, but it's also, I wrote a different type of outline for it. And so the outline for the second book, I came up with a different thesis. So I'm going to tell you 7 truths about full-time content creators. So I answered like 7 specific things. Like, what does it mean to be a full-time content creator? How long does it take to become a full-time content creator? What is a day in the life of a full-time content creator? How do content creators make their money? What does it take to be a full-time content creator? Understanding a creator-based business, and what are the challenges of full-time content creators? And then I went into like 7 habits of full-time content creators, the 7 streams of income of full-time content creators, 7 myths about full-time content creators. I'm thinking of adding 7 mistakes to that. So that would give me like 35 chapters of very specific questions that I'm answering. And there's also a lot of opportunities to put data and facts and figures in that one. So this one is a much more of a reference book. So the first book is philosophical and anecdotal and, very entry level, surface level, if you wanted to call it that, but it's still a very good read. And the second book is practically a reference book in terms of, okay, the 7 main streams of income of full-time content creator. Oh, some breakdowns and some data around how long on average it takes people, how much money it takes to be a full-time content creator, things to consider. Oh, how do they make their money? What is a day in their life? What is the schedule of that? How many hours a week do people put in? How long does it take to do those things? How long does it take to make it? Like, what are their challenges with hiring and taxes and things like, so like, you'll know, like it answers like, if this is going to be your career, you should read this book because you'll know what the real deal is if you want this to be a career. And then with the third book is basically the success stories. It's the wins. So it's going to be based on this. The third book will be based on all the interviews that I'm doing for the rest of my career. So if you think about it, those 3 books are different approaches and different formats to talking about this subject matter. And then I can get a trilogy. I can easily get a trilogy of books out of just talking exclusively about YouTube as a platform. I can make multiple books on YouTube as a platform, and it's pretty easy to do as a trilogy to do a book that's literally 100 tips for growing a YouTube channel. And
I kind of see what you're doing. You're like niching down, but like you're niching down into verticals within the industry.
Correct. Correct. So I feel like I can do a book that like is 100 tips for YouTube. Then I can do an entire dedicated book to that is based around understanding how to make money specifically around YouTube. And then I can specifically do a book that is made around the success stories and breakdown of specific YouTube-based content creators or endeavors or formats or things like that. So that part is very like, that can be more technical in nature in terms of I can make a book that is like tells you a book that's really how to start a YouTube channel and then reveals to you kind of the secrets of this is how so-and-so makes content that you've heard of. Here's how so-and-so and break down the technicals of when I'm telling you how to start a YouTube channel. I can also break down the technical details behind a content creator that you would know about of how their stuff is made so that you understand it and why your channel needs to be set up a certain way. I can also answer straight up, just make a 100 tips book and then a money book. So that's a YouTube trilogy. So I have a creator economy trilogy. I have a YouTube trilogy off of that. And then the thing is, I can make easily a trilogy around technical things, like actual technical, thinner books that are technical, like a book around the technical aspects of podcasting, the technical aspects of live streaming, and then the technical aspects of producing YouTube videos. And then that's a trilogy of just technical books that even tell you things like settings, general settings, and fundamental principles. And therefore it's another reference book. Like I have a book here that's about digital photography that literally tells you like what focal lengths of lenses to use, what, lighting, all those things. So that's actually not a hard book to make. Mm-hmm. And it'll be evergreen because it's a technical manual. So that's not something so difficult. And then you can go from there. There's more things. So that's literally 3 types of trilogies that I know that like I could, or is that, that's like 3 types of trilogies that I know.
Yeah. And then you're honing in on the specifics and branching out from there.
Exactly. So
there's a good question in the chat from Daily Quake Feed. What kind of things will you do to promote and sell the book?
So this first one, that's a great question. So this first one, I'm going to definitely do some advertising in Amazon. I'm also going to do a Goodreads giveaway for the Kindle side and for the print book side. So for the Kindle side, if I do it and I don't do the super hardcore Goodreads giveaway, it's $195. It's like $200. And then for the print side, for doing the hardcore, more discoverable giveaway, that's $600. I'll probably run about maybe $15 a day of advertising in Amazon, $15 a day indefinitely in Amazon. So that's the advertising side of it. In terms of, so that's for promotion. So that's the advertising side. The organic side is me going on a bunch of podcasts with people, and big and small. And so over the course of this year, I'm just going to do like 30 to 50 different podcast interviews on big and small podcasts, go on a lot of my friends' programs, have interviews on my own podcast throughout the year, go hardcore on it probably in September, Monday through Friday podcast live streams, and do things like that, really aggressively promote the book. And obviously I'm going to directly promote it in my YouTube channel, not just in my community tab. I'm going to do a content strategy series on my YouTube channel, and I will be the sponsor for that and basically plug the book in every single one of those videos. So I'll have like 5 to 10 videos on content strategy that are all just promoting my book.
Do you have those videos already mapped out?
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have that planned. My email, obviously.
Oh, sorry.
Conferences. So for September, I'm speaking at 3 different conferences. And so I'm obviously going to promote the book at all 3 conferences in September.
Yep. My follow-up question was in regards to, well, I have a bunch of questions actually, but in regards to the podcasts, and the various interviews that you want to have lined up. One, have you already started reaching out to them? 2, how are you keeping track of all of this?
People are reaching out to me. Largely, they're just sending calendar invites, and we're just putting it on the books, and that's that. But I also have like kind of a list in my phone of like who to hit up, and so there's people I want to bring on that are friends of mine, and then obviously all of my homies will have me on their live streams and their podcast. But there's also people that I'll have them on mine, so we'll do a back and forth.
So in terms of publicity, do you think you'd hire a PR, publicist, to help you for like a couple months, maybe to reach outside of your network? Because your network's really great, right? Your immediate network.
Yes.
But you might also want to go outside of your network to get appearances and promote your book. Are you thinking about getting a PR?
Absolutely. It's something I'm looking at. And I think that that's also what'll help me get verified in Instagram. Finally, I think that's also, they'll have people who can help me with like a Wikipedia entry. And so I'll just finally like do all that. And so I think it's worth doing. My public profile is actually really good without doing any PR or paid media, but it's time now because it hasn't been enough, obviously. So I think now it's time. I definitely think this can be just from organic, an Amazon bestseller, but I think you need PR and publicity to help you get to bestseller for like New York Times, Wall Street Journal, if you want to do that. For a self-published book, that's very difficult to do. So I just want Amazon bestseller, if nothing else, for now. But I also am in categories where it wouldn't be hard for me to become a bestseller in my categories.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm already at number 11 for this week in what I believe one of my categories right now. I believe that if I literally just and then the thing is, my real numbers will really count when the book itself comes out. So since I have pre-orders and my like community is going to really swoop in once the book is out and it's like, oh, the product's out, it is real, it exists. Once that's the case, then people will really like go to it. And then with the advertising, that'll be so that will and the book in print length it says the book would be 185 pages. So that's a pretty solid paperback. So right now, if I link you to my book right now, technically I'm already, right as of this moment, a bestseller in a number one, or bestsellers rank is number one in podcasting and webcasting, number 7 in podcast and webcast, and I'm number 144 in entrepreneurship right now. So that's as of right now. If I have any more sales at any given time, I'm like a bestseller in Amazon, easily in my categories. I can be number 1 in my categories, you know? Like right now, the number 2 book is Hook Point, which is really good. I actually have that book. It's actually top-notch stuff, by Brendan Kane. And then I see, and look at there's other books in these categories. There's like a book here, Podcasting Made Simple, the step-by-step guide. Like, it's like, so I know that I can also write books like, again, a YouTube Made Simple or something like that. Like, I know I can make additional books that do very well. But I'm going with the creator economy first because I want to own that space, and I came up with that phrase back in 2014, 2015. It was popularized later, but I've been using it for years. You guys know that because you've known me a long time. And I came up with it off of Gary Vee's The Thank You Economy, which he wrote a long time ago before he wrote Jab, 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 Right Hook. So again, like, it was a play off of, the gig economy. We're content creators. I don't like the influencer economy. I don't like the attention economy. Creator economy, because the word creator became more popularized than influencer. So that's how I put it together. So I know I can be an Amazon bestseller. I know I can be an Amazon bestseller, but for the rest of my career, I get to say that I'm a published author, that I have a book, that I'm the author of Create Something. It's also the name of my podcast. So it's branding. And so for the rest of my life, I get to say, the author. It's like he's the founder of Awesome Creator Academy, author of the best-selling book, Create Something Awesome, How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion, the Creator Economy. So for me, it's a branding play. I will forever be tied to the creator economy. I will be the guy who wrote the book about the creator economy. I will be the guy who wrote the book about why you can, make $40,000 a year being a content creator and how to do it. I will be that guy for the rest of my life. And that matters.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to figure out screen share.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out screen share. So I could show your book, but because I'm using a different browser now, I need to give it permissions. But if I give it permissions right now, then I have to link it and whatever.
Yeah, no, actually, you know what? I could do it.
Yeah, if you can just show us the Amazon page that you linked to,
I
because
want
then
to
that way,
see.
if people want to pre-order, they know which one it is.
Yep.
And I see your question, Daily Quake, but I want to save it for a minute because I think it's a good segue into my topic. Because I'm gonna be talking about influencers, so I'm gonna save it for.
But this is my book. In print, it's 185 pages, so it's a decent paperback, and you can see that it's number 1 in podcasting. So I'm not BSing that. It's number 1 in podcasting, number 7 in podcast and webcast, number 44 in entrepreneurship. So let's see. Oh, it just dropped to number 4. But it's but that's how sales and reviews. So the thing is, and I'm confident that I can get my community to back me with like 100 reviews of the book once it's out. And so I think that this will do very well. And again, my main goal is we have 150 pre-orders. My goal is to have 1,000 true fans buy it before the end of the year. So that's my real goal with it. Is that's what I'd like to see happen, is 1,000 true fans get it before the end of the year. That would really mean a lot to me. And I think that's what'll happen. I think that, and if we get to 500, I'm good with that too. So it's like, 500 to 1,000 people buy the book, support it, 50 to 100 positive reviews. That's those are the goals. Those are things that I hope happen before the end of the year. And I think it's more than possible. There's a chance that a conference might buy 100, 200 copies of the book. So that helps a lot. And there's a lot of different things we can do in terms of promoting. I could tell people that, hey, if you have wanted to get me on the podcast before and you buy like 20 copies of the book and like I've said no in the past or something, yeah, come on for 20, 25 copies of the book, you know, and boom, you know.
Right on. With that being said, can we move on to the next topic?
Yeah.
So this was actually Daily Quake's question was thanks so much for answering. Also, if I have a book I wrote, how do I get influencers like y'all to help promote the book? This is kind of a tough one to answer because influencers get a lot of requests every day, and it comes from all sorts of brands and people. So I think that it really takes building a rapport with the community and the audience, the people who are interested in the influencer that you want to have. And I'm coming at this from like a small business, like shoestring kind of budget, because obviously it's pretty simple. Like if you have the budget, you just approach an influencer and you ask them how much is their price for talking about your product. And
$1 million.
yes, and depending on like what tier and how many requests they get is how much they're going to ask you. But it's pretty simple in terms of like just approaching them. I mean, some influencers have like their DMs open, so you can just reach out to them and straight up ask them. Just ask them, hey, like I have this thing. What would it take for you to post about it? I can send you, this thing, or like I have a very small budget. Like let's talk. I think that a lot of influencers appreciate that, but also if you come at it from a very personal angle, I appreciate that because I get a lot of emails, and I'm sure you guys do too, from brands that are straight up just copy pasting and filling in the blank for, hi, first name. And then they'll follow up with something like, we've been following you for such a long time and we love your YouTube videos. We especially love insert latest video title here. And then they try to give you their product and want you to talk about it for free, which is some influencers will definitely do it without getting paid if it's something that they're interested in and if they know that their audience is interested in. But a lot of influencers who value their time and their energy are not gonna jump in so quick without getting paid. That being said, my topic for tonight is Lil Miquela has just become the face of PacSun.
Who is that?
So Lil Miquela is a robot influencer. So she's not real.
Influencer.
I think I might have fixed the
sharing issue.
So I'm gonna try it and see if it works. Oh, nope.
Do you want to send one of us the
yeah,
and then let us do it?
Here you go. This is her profile. Just to kind of show who she is. So Lil Miquela is a recording artist. Like she has her own music videos. I think like she's sung. But more than anything, she is an Instagram influencer with over 3 million followers, and she is not real.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not real in the sense that she is. I mean, she's very real. Like she's there, but she is not a
human.
So there's various kind of ideas.
She's a generative influencer, isn't she?
So this is a really this is kind of a big deal because she just signed this contract with Paxson, which is a huge brand that has been around for a very, very long time. And she is officially the face of Paxson. And so she is going to be their ambassador, going to be on billboards, things like that. And this is obviously something that I guess for actual people who are trying to make a living being influencers, it's kind of annoying because it's like there's so many other people.
How is she created?
How is she created?
Yes.
So I think so there's kind of like a back and forth on this. Like the body is real, is a person. There's a model here. But I think that they do like some sculpting, some rendering to make it look seamless with the face.
Mhm.
And then the face is, I don't know what
So
program
she's
they're
based
using,
on
but
a real person, but then she's a composite, probably Unreal Engine,
yes.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, so her
I think
body is real, but
Mhm.
her face is it is a combination of a lot of different features of what is, so this is something that I
considered
read,
attractive, I guess.
right. It's what I read a long time ago, which is it's based on something it's based on like what is found attractive. Um and not just one thing, it's not just like one face, but it's like the different features that are mostly found attractive.
Yeah.
And then
This
it's
is terrifying.
a
She
combination.
she's an amalgamation of the internet's inputs on like what we really, and she is attractive. She's like, and she's interesting. She's got this quirky thing going on somewhere, quirky, cute, sexy, all of those things going on. And it's like, and it's generative. That's interesting because it's generative based on all of our aggregated attention. And this is why I actually believe we are in the matrix, is that this is just one more thing that convinces me that we're in the matrix. Because we keep feeding it the data that needs to know this.
Andy says it's still real to me, damn it.
I think Tirana Bro is right. It's a VTuber with extra steps.
Yeah. There is I mean, this is like Lil Michaela is not just one person. Like this is a production house. This is a team of people who are working.
IP. It's an IP like Mickey
Yep.
Mouse. It's an IP like Mickey Mouse, but now it's an influencer. But this is interesting to me. I don't know if this is a great idea, but it makes me fascinated because I know that the future and the way to build wealth is to own the best intellectual properties in the world. So if I had a stable of these virtual influencers and I decided to attack the 20 highest paying verticals in all of ad revenue and brand deals and stuff like that, and I decide, okay, I'm going to have this generative robot influencer in this category, this category, this category. Like, all right, wait, what if I make a generative AI influencer that can compete in this category, this category, this category, be the face of this brand, this brand, this brand? The brands know they don't really have a risk with a generative influencer because you can't cancel a generative AI based influencer. You can't cancel them. And even if you did, I spin up another one. All the value and none of the liability, and they live forever.
Yeah, so I think that Lil Michaela is 19 officially. But she's been 19 for like the past 5 years. Will Berry in the chat said, I need to make one of those fake people and then an OnlyFans for that fake person. That is very clever.
Real path to riches, though. That would be the real path to riches, right?
Yo, like we're sleeping over here and Will is already counting stacks.
We could take Bella Thorne's bag. Like we could take Bad Baby's bag. We could take all the bags if we go that route. It's like,
Will, don't worry, your secret's safe with us.
This is the ultimate. Like that's how you make bank. Why would Jesus?
100%. Daily Quakes in the chat wants to know who is funding and running Lil Michaela's account. So officially, Lil Michaela is a character created by Trevor McFedries and Sarah DeCou. So the project began in 2016. And I guess they just have like their own company that they've set up. the two of them to influence and make music behind this kind of character, which is fascinating stuff, guys. All the bags, yes. Will is Will's making all the bags. Ooh, this is actually a really good point from Geronimo in the chat. The worst part is you really can't cancel someone who doesn't exist.
Is that the worst part or is that the best part?
Companies will flock to these influencers to be safer. But the thing is, though, Geronimo, is that even if you look, even if you browse through Lil Miquela's account, she has a very specific ideology, and you will find that she aligns herself with very specific ideology. So some people might cancel her for that, depending on what side you talk to.
It doesn't matter because it's not an actual person, which means that they're screaming into the void, and it's like you don't have to do anything. And the thing is, she could conjure up a fake apology because she's not a real person.
Right. But now
I want to see a fake apology video. That'd be awesome.
I know, right? A fake apology from a fake influencer. It's amazing.
But doesn't that kind of scare you a little bit? Like the idea is like this ideology now is like doesn't even require
a physical.
It doesn't require a crowd of people. It doesn't require real people, like someone real to be behind it. It's like if I have my own ideologies, I just have to create an influencer like this.
Brilliant. I am actually a fan of this. Let's go. Bring the chaos. Let's go. Look, if people want to play stupid games, they can win stupid prizes. It doesn't mean much to me. Like, that's fine. Like, let's go. Bring in the chaos. It's like, I'm for this. I'm all about this. This is like, I'm down. Let's go.
Audrey, how do you feel about Lil Miquela?
I'm scared.
Okay.
My one thought is
the two words that Audrey has said 30 minutes into the podcast.
I think it's just like, I feel like this is like a cool thing that one person did. I don't think they're gonna like take over.
Why would any brand not create their own stable of in-house influencers that they get to control the narrative of? They get all the benefits of an influencer. They get all the benefits of a parasocial relationship. They get all the benefits
without the conflict of other brands coming in.
Exactly so. They get exclusivity. They get like all this stuff and everything. If they want exclusivity, they could even just decide to own the whole industry by making these generative influencers. And if they're going to capture the hearts and minds of people and to capture a lifestyle and create this lifestyle, it's no different than creating Mickey Mouse. It's just better. It's just better than creating Mickey Mouse. And it's just better. And then would add a layer of augmented reality to this. Like add VR to this, add augmented reality to this, like augmented reality concerts and events with these influencers, augmented reality pop-ups and meetups with these creations, these influencers. It's a parasocial relationship on another scale. And the thing is, it's now generative, and it's based on all the data that you're harvesting around the niche and the culture that you're selling to. This is too good. This is brilliant. This is evil, but it's brilliant. I love this. Yes, these are the new dark gods, and I'm here for it. Yes, bring the chaos. These will be the new cults of personality. These will be your new gods, and I'm for it. Let's go.
Look, I feel like part of me is into it. Like the transhuman part of me is into it. That's like all into like futurism. But I'm also thinking about this kind of technology getting into the wrong hands.
Oh, it absolutely
wrong being defined by stuff that I disagree with.
Sure. But here's the thing. I'm even rooting for the stuff that I disagree with because it proves the point. And it proves the point. And it's just consequences. It's play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I have no problem with these things existing and even being used for evil because it can only work if we're stupid. The evil only happens if we're stupid, corrupt, and greedy. So guess what? It can only expose us. So the thing is, bring on the dark gods because I'm fine with it. Because then if they have worshipers, it's play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We deserve it at that point. Bring it all. Bring it all. I'm fine. Bring all of the consequences because if we are stupid enough, we deserve it. I actually believe in meritocracy so much, I'm willing to entertain all levels of nonsense and foolishness just to see what will happen. Because if we're going to play stupid games, we deserve our stupid prizes. So let's go. Let's do it. Roll the dice. Let's go. Bring the chaos.
Audrey, would you ever follow a fake influencer like Lil Michaela?
I mean, maybe out of curiosity, but no. Like, I've seen enough, you know. Like, just from scrolling for like 3 seconds.
Why do you think that? Do you think that there are genuinely people out there who don't know that Lil Michaela isn't an actual person?
For sure. I think like if someone was just scrolling randomly, they probably literally just would not notice. Which is kind of terrifying, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there still is something about like real people having, like, you can't replace like an Emma Chamberlain. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not
yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Roberto's like already on the other screen investing in companies making this a reality. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't know. I think also maybe if I'd had if Lil Michaela was more aligned with the stuff that I'm interested in, then I may follow someone like that to find out about products that I would be interested in, right? Or lifestyle tips, right? Because I think that like for example, to me, the very first kind of fake influencer that I know of was the Gorillas. Like, these were the first ones that I followed and that I was like a hardcore fan of. Yes. And in part it was because of the aesthetic, but I was totally into like the lore of the Gorillas. Yes. And knew the backstory of each of the band members, even though it was completely fake, or rather not fake, but like fiction. But all of that was very interesting to me because I was following along on a story that didn't have an end, right?
Yes. Do you remember the movement in Japan around Vocaloid idols?
Is this like the Genki Rockets?
Vocaloids are basically these fake influencers, but instead of fake influencers, they're fake pop idols.
Yeah, so like Genki Rockets was one that I followed. There was a girl, and she had like music, and I would listen to her music. She was like a J,
like Miku. Japan. Andy Japandi knows what I'm talking about. Like Miku, yeah. Like Miku is the blue hair girl with the like big long ponytails, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like, I believe that this is the future for companies and brands, and also that these will be industry plants the same way that like BTS and 2NE1 and all the K-pop idols are all industry plants. They're manufactured acts. They're manufactured acts. The next evolution of that is just literally just manufacturing them and printing them out and doing that, like taking it to the next level and scaling it. And then they have no weight. You don't have to worry. You have a staff round the clock working on salary for this. So there's no splitting the revenues. It belongs to the company. The company makes the profit. It's brilliant. And here's the thing. I just realized that I accidentally pitched this to Disney back in 2016 when I was a consultant. When I was a consultant in 2016, I did a gig with Disney. This is how I met Jake Paul. And this is how I met the rest of the cast of Bizarre Bark back then when I was at VidCon, because I was also doing a gig with Disney back then. And I remember one of the things we talked about, I was talking about Snapchat back then, before the decline, before I was like, milk this and milk, all these other platforms. And I was like, what about creating content from the perspective of the characters in universe? So like, have the characters of the Wizards of Waverly Place or whatever do post and do stories and do Instagram and do Snapchat and do a YouTube channel, make it like an in-universe thing. And now you see what Captain Marvel, she like actually started, and there is a legit YouTube channel with the clips from there in the Captain Marvel show. Creating a very meta thing that you're doing, a metaverse, if you will. Back in 2016, what I was pitching to like Disney was have your characters like actually do journals and stories and use the social media platforms that their fans are using, have the characters talk to the fans like they're an influencer, is why I said in 2016, which if you think about it, alludes to where we are now with these virtual influencers, but also VTubers, but also the metaverse of the metaverse. I still believe in the metaverse. Everyone doesn't. I'm like, no, people will live in the metaverse. People will have relationships with real and AI generated people in the metaverse that are more meaningful to them than the relationships they have in real life, because they're choosing to be with people, whether they're real or virtual, that share their interests, their values, and their ideology and their hobbies and validate them. They'll play in that world more. They'll spend more time in that world. They already do with the internet as it is. They'll do it even more with the metaverse, and they'll have a lifestyle in the metaverse that is better than the lifestyle they have in the physical world. In the metaverse, they'll have, a flat screen TV that they can't afford here. In the metaverse, they'll have a view that they could never buy here and never earn here. In the metaverse, they will literally have a better life than they have here and better experiences than they have here. We won't want to leave the Matrix. Like, we won't want to leave the Matrix. It'll be better here. You will want to live there.
Yeah.
Not me.
I mean, I don't know if I'm a fan of that, but personally, but I mean, I get there's going to be some people.
I win here. So I not me. Right. Because I'm already winning here, so I'll be fine. But other people will want to live in the metaverse all the time because they will have better lives there. And I know this because I was a World of Warcraft player. I know this because I was a Star Wars Old Republic player. I know that in those universes, I was a god. In those universes, I was a god of death, slaying my enemies. I had legions of followers, and I was an overlord, conquering everything that fell before me in that world. And in the real world, I was a bum. And I don't mean that. And by that, I'm just being facetious, but I was broke. So in the real world, I was freaking broke. I was calling myself a scrub. I didn't have but I was too hard on myself. I was 23. Why would I have my shit together at 23, right? But in the digital world, I was a conqueror. I was an emperor. I was a gladiator. I was a god of death. So obviously I'd want to spend more time there.
I don't know about the metaverse, man. It reminds me of that movie Player One, or Ready Player One.
Yeah. And before that, The Matrix, and before that, The Matrix, and before that, Virtuosity, before that, and also The Cell. And we've seen this before. I agree with you. I just know that it plays out because I just know that that's how human beings are, because I was a gamer. I already saw people divorce themselves from reality. People are still divorcing themselves from reality. People are doing it, and some of them are using it to build riches in the real world. That's what the Twitch streamers are doing. They divorced themselves from reality, and then they got to actually win in reality because of that translating to real life money. But other than that, they still were just going to sit there, even if it didn't translate. Right. Like money, they were going to take all of their money and just survive so they could spend the rest of their time in the virtual world with what they consider to be their real friends, because they hate the people at work. They don't like their family. They don't like the people in their neighborhood. They don't like the people in their small town. They'd rather be online. They'd rather be on Twitch. They'd rather be on YouTube, and they'll do that all day, every day. And they'll just work as many minimal hours to keep the lights on so that they can escape to the better world. I think the metaverse is the natural evolution of that.
Geronimo says, what if they just made a way to earn IRL money in game like Ready Player One?
I believe in that and they should have it. I want that for people, to be honest. I think it'll lift people, especially in the developing world, it'll lift people out of poverty. But people are resisting that because that's why they don't want pay to earn gaming. They don't want NFT gaming. That's what NFT gaming is. That's what NFT gaming is. And that's why someone like Dr. Disrespect actually believes in it. But because of the backlash, because of some of the scams, because of all this stuff, people are cooling off on that. But I believe it's the future. And I believe it's actually a good thing. And what I believe is that if America and the first world doesn't embrace it, what'll happen is the third world will embrace it. The developing world will embrace it, and then those people.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, there's the barrier to entry is so low, right?
Yeah.
All you need is access to the internet. Right?
I actually kind of want to do something with that, and I wouldn't bother. 'Cause Americans are so caught up in scam mania and just like so skepticism, and also the greed and corruption here, that I wouldn't sell play to earn gaming in America first. I would sell play to earn gaming in India and Korea and in China and in the East. I would sell it in the East and let those people win and have their successes, and like a bunch of those people in impoverished countries,
give them a head start.
I'd make them millionaires, and I'd like there, and then all the angry broke gamers that were anti-NFT and talking about art theft and all this stuff in America, they're going to watch these people in these impoverished countries. They're going to watch these people winning and living their best life. And they're going to watch these people dominating these tournaments. And they're going to have to watch them have a new category in esports globally. And then they're going to be begging for it. They have to see somebody, because until they see someone else win that they're jealous of, they won't embrace things. They won't embrace things until the only thing that can get people in the West to adopt something is they have to be angry and envious,
losing,
feel excluded from it. They have to feel excluded from it, and then they'll want it. They'll have to see somebody else winning, and then they'll say, "Why am I excluded from that? Why is that opportunity not here? Why didn't I get it first?"
Yeah. Speaking of opportunities, I think this is a good time to talk about freelancing.
The title is so intense. Just like freelancing is over.
Gotta get the people.
I mean, my take is not super intense. I just wanted to, because I can actually talk about this now, which is exciting publicly and not have to worry. But I'm stopping freelancing completely, almost. I'm like starting the process of letting people go now.
Is that because you're taking a full-time gig?
Yep. So I'm going to be working, or I'm doing a trial run first, so this might not work, and then I don't know what I'm going to do, but but hopefully it does work out. It should work out. So, because my whole point of like taking this job is to learn a lot, and obviously I think it'll be fun, and I'm excited for it, but also to just not have like 10 different things going on at the same time.
Sure.
Because I do want to still do my own stuff. Oh my god, Rusty, stop. I do want to do my own stuff still, but having like 10 different creative projects at the same time has just been impossible to. I have like a list of priorities, and my stuff just constantly gets pushed down the list. So I'm kind of hoping that if I just have like one thing to focus on, even though it's still going to be chaotic because I'm going to be working for a YouTuber, which just by definition will mean chaos.
Yeah.
But creatively hoping, you'll be more focused.
I'll be able to focus more. Even though I probably won't have more time, I just want like the headspace back, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. I mean, if you're thinking about just working on it, having to work with a lot of different clients can be nice as a learning experience, but it can be difficult in terms of focus and being able to take advantage of opportunities and grow. It's one of the reasons why you'll see people who only photograph weddings or only make websites for leaf blowers, whatever. Like the reason is because it gets to a point where you can really focus on what that industry or what that person, that type of client needs, and you can serve them better because you improve on a vertical instead of working with a lot of different types of people, which is nice and can be exciting, but it doesn't allow for your brain to then focus on your own personal creative projects, because you've already split up, so you've segmented so many areas of your brain and your ideas, that it doesn't leave room for you, because by the end of the day you just want to not think about any of those things.
Yeah, I mean, there's a such thing as if you like if what you do is excuse me, if you work on something that's the same, you will improve and sharpen the saw, and it'll happen a lot more quickly than if you're doing all these different things. And if you, even though you can benefit from those different things having overlap on compounding, sure. And you've probably grown from that. You'll grow even more creatively, though, by only focusing on one style of content, one person's thing, and you'll be able to go deep because you've already benefited from a variety of experience. You've already benefited from all these individual pieces of novelty. You've already duplicated a lot of different styles and proven that you're adaptable and flexible. You don't need more flexibility at this point, in my opinion. You need depth, and you need the benefits of sharpening the saw, and you need some consistency, stability, and continuity in your skill set and in your life. And I think that this lets you'll become, like, I think, even better, faster, sharper. Your judgment will be more impeccable by focusing on one type of thing. I mean, I can tell you that from working on my own content and making over 1,500 videos on the main channel, shot, produced, edit, thumbnail, all the data, that's why I'm so deep and good at what I do, is I mostly got to go deep in the trenches on styles and verticals of education content. I'm one of the only people who's like done, and I've also done I've done hundreds of every variation of education content you could probably stylistically do. I've done 100 vlogs. I've done 100 plus tutorials. I've done 100 talking heads. I've done 100 interview style videos. I've done 100 live streams. I haven't done 100 YouTube shorts yet. I've done 100 clips that have been repurposed or formatted or re-edited. I've done 100 faceless YouTube videos with only music, with a music. You see what I'm saying? I've done enough variety, but the thing I have depth on is I've done thousands of shoot the video directly to camera, edit the B-roll, make the judgment call, edit the audio. Like, my abilities, precision, and everything is better served from all this depth that I've had versus if I had done 1,000 pieces of variety.
Yeah, I think, that's what I'm really excited about, is just being able to focus a little bit. And I guess you could argue that with my freelance stuff, like, I've been focusing anyway on YouTube content, but it's all different depending on who I'm working for and stuff. So I don't know. I'm excited to learn more about the entire process rather than just editing too.
Yeah.
I think I've been definitely like pigeonholed in like I'm an editor now, which is what I like to do a lot, but it's not the only thing I like to do. So I'm excited to learn like the business side also.
I like that for you. There's something different to be said from doing like all 8 arms of the octopus, like having all 8, like I'm experienced with all 8 arms of the octopus, having done it for years, I makes you a better creator. There's a point where, outsourcing that stuff, or even being this person that's outsourced to, there's value in that, knocking it. But I think it hits differently. I'll be very real with you. I think that a creator who did 1,000 pieces of content and did everything themselves, if a big creator had to ditch their team and make content from scratch all over again by themselves, I don't think they did like 200 videos before they started outsourcing everything, or they did 500 videos before they started outsourcing everything. I don't think they can come back from outsourcing everything and hang with somebody who did everything by themselves and did 1,000 videos, whether it's me or somebody else. I just don't think that they can. I don't think that it's possible once you let go of all of that. You let go, you're stopping learning how to edit, how to make judgment calls, writing the script by yourself, making the thumbnail. I don't think that a lot of big YouTubers could, make a thumbnail as good as a 15-year-old kid who's all they've done is make thumbnails for other people and has made like 500 of them. I don't think a big YouTuber who hasn't made their thumbnails in years can compete with today's 15, 16, 18-year-old thumbnail designer who that's all they do. Like, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. And I'm also, another added bonus is that the person I'm going to be working for, is aware that I want to do my own stuff as well. So it's not like I have to hide that or not talk about that. So it's going to be a very open learning experience as well, which is cool. So, yes. I don't know. I feel like after a while with editing, I've kind of hit like a plateau where I've become a lot very like not comfortable. It's still stressful, but I kind of know what I'm like. I've tried a bunch of different stuff and it's become very routine. So I think I've been like itching to do something different, and I think makes a lot of sense. So
would you say you're someone who needs novelty and variety to not burn out?
Yes, but I also have like specific goals in mind, and I feel like I think I felt like I was getting too comfortable with where I was at, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to keep progressing towards like the goal of doing my own thing and just kind of sticking with freelancing, which like I was saying before was just hard to like focus on my own stuff. It just felt like I felt like there needed to be like another step in between doing my own thing and freelancing, and I think this might be that step, hopefully.
I think that as a former freelancer, I think it's great for you to have some consistency and stability, because I think that
Yes.
I think that the lack of stability, I think that gets old after a while, and I think it's like it loses its any charm that it had in the novelty and the variety of it, the challenge of it, the urgency, the passion behind all of that. It's like that just grates and wears on your nerves after a while, to be honest, right? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's definitely stressful. I am kind of excited to not have to worry about that.
And all these
again, it helps with the mindset thing of not getting overwhelmed.
I agree. Like I think conflicting priorities and having too many things on your plate is overwhelming. That's why I think everyone should focus on a core platform, like we talked about before. Like focus on like one thing at a time, because then other things can benefit from you focusing on one thing at a time, and then you're less overwhelmed and you have less things that are competing for urgency. Because I think that when you're a freelancer and you have all these different clients, everyone's competing for your attention. Everyone thinks they're your number one priority, or at least your number two. And if everything's important, nothing is.
Yep, I agree. I'm excited. I mean, I still have to do a trial, so this might not work, and then I'll see where that goes. But
yeah, you could always.
I think it'll work.
You could always.
okay.
I've already seen your work. I've already seen your work.
You know what? As long as
man.
December, you always have a job.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I think also, I don't know. I think this is like a good opportunity too, because if by spending more time focusing on one, you're also seeing the growth and the process and what it takes to grow one thing really well, as opposed to just like dabbling in little things that you don't really get to see that growth and you don't really get to focus on that from like a business standpoint, and also not just business but also growth as an artist too. You get to see what it takes to get to that point, you know?
Yeah. Makes sense. I'm excited. I'll keep you guys updated.
I'm excited too. And for everybody who's listening right now, you better subscribe.
Oh, find out if I get the job or not.
Yeah, find out
Subscribe
on the next episode.
That's kind of bad.
Bruh.
Look, we're desperate out here, right? We're trying to get our numbers up.
Are we?
Oh God.
I don't know. Hey, you know what? I feel like I'm competing with little Michaela now. So
Oh,
I've got a mission.
Mm.
All right, guys. Shall we wrap up? Because I feel like this episode was really great.
I think it's solid.
Yeah.
Should I be anti-Michaela?
I mean, I'm a little anti-Michaela, but
I can make anti-Michaela. I can make the anti-influencer.
I mean,
what
Shadow
did Michaela do?
Michaela. Like no,
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm a Gorillas fan. I'm a Noodle fan.
There must be balance. There must be balance.
There must be balance. Where there's a yin, there's a yang.
Yang. Yes, exactly. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Do you want to take us out, Roberto?
I think the universe naturally balances itself out by creating oppositional forces. I think that, and I think it's a good thing. I think conflict is a natural part of the balance. I think that conflict is necessary. I think that equal and opposite, like there will be an equal and opposite reaction to everything. And I think if you look at the world right now and anything you see right now, guess what? Everything creates an equal and opposite reaction. Everything will manifest its opposite. Everything will manifest its opposite. So there you go. There must be balance. There must be balance. On that note, thank you for listening to the No Something Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing. Tune in next week for another exciting episode where we talk about all things on the internet. If you have not yet, please like, subscribe, and review. Do all the things, and we will catch you next time. Signing off is Audrey, Golden Child, Ember, Romina with the good hair, and of course, your Dark Lord of the interwebs, Roberto Blake. Thank you for listening. Nop.